Hello, good day, everyone. So, I will be sending this recorded discussion for two lessons for your coverage for your third quarter summative exam. So, this course or this subject is understanding culture, society, and politics. We will try to understand how our culture, society, and politics are interconnected with each other, how our culture as well as our politics is shaped and influenced in our society. So I believe that we have discussed some of the topics when we had our face-to-face classes, so culture, society, and politics. So talking about culture, these are the shared beliefs, values, language, norms, and customs that characterize a group of people. So it may talk about habits, cuisines, arts, religions, laws, attitudes that are passed down from generation to generation through social learning or through social process, socialization, pakikipaghalubilo, interacting with other people. Society, this is a group of people living in the same area or defined area, sharing the same culture, beliefs, religion, government, and whatnot. So it may talk about social relationships, institutions. So in our society, we have different institutions like the school, the government, our economy, and the like. And lastly, we have politics, activities associated with making decisions, especially in groups. May talk about power, authority, distributing of resources, exercise of authority, and enforcing collective decisions. I guess it's understandable what's politics all about. Uh, Talks about the government, the leaders, how our society is influenced or is managed by our government. So that's politics. So we have different cultural variations and social differences in gender. Again, when we talk about sex, biological factors, um, two factors that we can identify sex only the genitals, the vagina and the penis, and the chromosomes, the XX and XY chromosomes. That's sex. But when we talk about gender, it's all about how our society assign roles to us. 'Di ba, from the start with gender reveals, how pink is associated with girls, blue is for boys. The same with our roles in our society, how our society dictate what we should be, how a male should behave, how a female should behave. So that's gender. And again, gender is malleable. It can change across time. So now we have different gender, not just male and female. We have lesbian, gay, bisexual, asexual, intersexual, and many others, which our society has assigned roles to each gender. Diba, makibawang taon say bayot, unsay tumboy. So, the society assigned the roles for those gender. And again, how our gender is shaped is through our interaction in our society, how we meet other people, how we interact with our friends, with our acquaintances, with our colleagues. So, diba, that's how we learn, we adapt behaviors for the different genders. And again, as what I have said, maybe later in your life, you will realize that you're bisexual or you're lesbian because that's how you learn from other people or how your gender is shaped in our society. So I guess we have discussed this already. And again, this is Betty Friedan. She wrote The Feminine Mystique all about women after World War II, and this helped for women's liberation movement in America. Next one, we have cultural variations and social differences in socioeconomic classes or socioeconomic class. Again, socioeconomic class and economic class is way different from each other. When we talk about economic class, we only deal with the income of a certain family, money, assets, properties only. But when we talk about socioeconomic class, we consider different factors like your cultural backgrounds, your the three capitals, the economic capital, the social capital, and the cultural capital. So again, socio-economic class refers to a category that groups people the with similar economic, cultural, and political status. Again, socioeconomic class is different from economic status because the basis for economic status is only the income of a family. But when we talk about socioeconomic class, we consider three factors: economic capital, your money, assets, properties, savings, your liabilities, all about your income. That's economic capital. When we talk about social capital, again, these are our connections with other people. How is our relationship with our friends, our colleagues, our acquaintances, our classmates, and whatsoever. How we build social relations with people that may help us in the future. So I have mentioned here, 'di ba? Um, Zionism and nepotism. When we talk about Zionism, you give favor or you do a favor from your friends, acquaintances, and nepotism, you do a favor for a family member of blood, right? So it's like your connections, how your connections will help you in the future. And lastly, the cultural capital, a combination of knowledge, behaviors, and skills that an individual has acquired to demonstrate one's cultural competence and in turn determine one's social status in society. So examples for this are the materials or references that you have learned from, like books, computers, your academic degrees, your job titles, religious titles, and other social roles. Because again, we can't deny that our social titles or how are we addressed in our society really matters. Like when we happen to know someone who has a political background or is a politician, it's like our respect suddenly changes. Or when we meet someone of high position, like a CEO, a school principal, or anyone who has title, our attitude towards them really changes, right? Uh, maapektuhan atong behavior, how we portray or present ourselves really changes depending on your job titles or religious titles. So that could be considered as a cultural capital. Understanding and recognizing socioeconomic differences is vital to expose the social, cultural, economic, and political barriers that it dictates or that it creates within each socioeconomic levels. We can't deny it that our rank in the society really creates barriers. How we present ourselves, how we talk to other people, their social, cultural, economic, and political status really affects how we behave or how we interact with other people. So the hierarchy that is always established in socioeconomic classes propagates inequality among members of society in terms of acquiring basic resources and economic opportunities. So, example that I have given for this is katong mga four-piece beneficiaries. Katong mga kailag kapitan or kagawad, i-favor sila or kanang tagaan sila o i-appeal sila sa list nga na compared atong nanginahanglan because of your social capital, because you're friends with the kagawad or the kapitan or family mo, maong mas mahatagan ka or you can acquire more opportunities compared to other people. So power relations is also impacted by the existence of socioeconomic classes. Since people in the highest socioeconomic levels are more wealthy, prestigious, and powerful, they have more capacity to influence the political arena. So again, those people like sila Manny Villar, the Villars, the Dutertes, the Aquinos, since they are capable, they are wealthy enough, dili sila dali-dali mawala sa political arena. 'Di ba? Always yun ang naana nga mga apelyido sa ato ang politika here in the Philippines. Because they are capable, they have the capacity to influence others, especially kwartaan sila, sikat sila. That's why also more factor sad nga nganong powerful sila. So this is Carol Gilligan. She is an American feminist, ethicist, psychologist best known for her theory on moral development and gender. So she worked with Lawrence Kohlberg. So Lawrence Kohlberg, he is a famous psychologist. They gave or they focus on the theory of morality, but Gilligan focused on how gender impacts our moral choices. So based on her research, Carol Gilligan found out that boys have a justice perspective while girls have a care and responsibility perspective when it comes to evaluating social situations. So, diba, for your first activity for UCSP, you created the table wherein you wrote roles for males, for females, then somebody wrote there na boys daw are capable or more capable with their leadership skills, while girls, they are more caring, responsible, they do household chores. Men daw are um, emotionally stable, or di sila magpadaog sa ilang emotions because they use their brains or their reasoning to come up with sound decisions. So that's why on Carol's research findings, 'di ba, justice perspective ang boys. Since again, di man gud ipa-take over sa boys ang ilang emotions compared sa ilang reasoning. Mas kamao sila mo gamit sa ilahang reasoning or sa ilang mind nga di nila mapairal ang ilang emotions compared to girls who are very emotional, who are very emotional, that sometimes, 'di ba, ang atong decisions kay maapektuhan sa atong emotions at that very moment. So mao nang migawas sa study ni Carol Gilligan. So this is how our society shaped us. Maratag makategorize ba nga if female ka, mao ni imong roles, mao ni imong certain traits, whereas male ka, ngani pod ka, ngani imong mga batasan. So dili lang based on observations but really based on research. You should be doing an activity about our ethnicity or our unique characteristic of our culture as Boholanos. Monta ning lesson. Because for the third topic, the cultural variations and social differences in ethnicity and religion. So when we say ethnic group, this is a specific group of people having certain similar characteristics and a distinct cultural identity which distinguish them from other groups in the community or society. So when we share the same characteristics for our cultural identity, so our group can be considered as one ethnic group, like Boholanos. We share the same culture, maybe physical characteristics, as well as our religion. We may have different, what do we call that, Catholic, like, unsa man na, di ba? Some are mga Iglesia ni Cristo, Roman Catholic, uh, kanang mga saksi ni Jehovah, but those different religions, we share the same goal, or we share the same belief that we believe in Jesus, or others kay mga Muslims. Basta kay majority of us share the same culture, we share the same delicacy, kanang kalamay, peanut kisses, if Boholano ka, well known ta for our sanduguan and our colorful festivals and how we celebrate fiestas for the whole month of May. Ana. So the term ethnicity is used to denote the shared culture of these groups, which includes cultural heritage, language or dialect, religion, traditions and rituals, norms, values, beliefs, and other practices. Diba? We are known for the concept nga ija-ija, aho-aho. How most Boholanos use J, gajud, Jude, unsa pay uban kanang uh, katong traditions and rituals kanang sanduguan, beliefs and other practices. So that's how ethnicity is defined. While race is a socially constructed category attributed to people who share the same biological traits and or attributes. So race is more on physical characteristics of people, or mostly about color, like colorism. If Asian, morena. If African, black. If American, white. And other races in the world. So mostly it is all about physical characteristics. I have asked from one of the sections last time, how can you say that you're a Filipino? Niningon og flat ang ilong. So, di ba, that's physical characteristics. While religion, it is a set of beliefs and ritual practices related to symbols which are considered sacred. So, religion as part of one's culture can also be considered as one aspect of an individual's ethnicity. So, di ba, when you the definition of ethnicity included there is religion. So, sometimes one nation practices the same religion, or group of people baka ana diha, or if not all, maybe the majority of those people practice one religion or the same religion. Ethnic groups may have different symbols which they consider sacred, and the differences of these symbols also entail differences in how these symbols are expressed in a cultural group's belief and rituals. These belief systems influence how people would interpret and interact with the world with which they live. Say for example, these symbols. So the first one kaning nagbring og yellow, this is Hinduism. The second one kaning curly, Buddhism. This one, Christianity, Islam and Taoism. So different religions having different symbols, and how we live in our society sometimes is influenced by our religion. Like, diba, Islam's or the Muslims, our Muslim brothers, they do not eat pork. Pinili sad ilahang food, like they only eat products nga nay halal. The Hindu or people who practice Hinduism and Buddhism, which they believe on reincarnation. And when we talk about reincarnation, di ba, imuhang soul is mag-transfer from one creature to another depending on your goodness, or imuha bitang, what do you call that, your karma, if good karma ba or bad karma imuhang na-acquire as you have lived your life. If nagbuhat kag mga maot nga binuhatan, so maybe ikaw sa sunod nga panahon mahimo kang baboy, mahimo kang ok-ok, or a lower form of animal, or you have lower rank in a society, like inig-reincarnate nimo, mahimo kang slave, or nahimo kang maid, dili ra, nahimo kang maid. Nga na ilahang belief, like mo reincarnate ka. That's why they respect all forms of animals. So mostly those who practice Hinduism and Buddhism, they do not eat animals and animal byproducts. Like they don't drink milk, since milk ay gikan sa cow. They don't eat eggs and butter, since kana sila gikan man sa animals. So kanang mga vegan, so dili sila mo eat og animals and animal byproducts, since ni believe sila nga naay soul ana nga mga organisms or mga creatures. So that's how our some religion may have shaped our way of living. How are we affected by our religion? And which is again another factor in considering ethnicity. So social implications of diverse ethnicities. So in some cases, differences among ethnicities may lead to conflict and issues. So that's what happened, diba, in Palestine. Until now, the Muslims and the Christians, they still have this conflict about the territory. Daghan ni angkon, or both ni angkon nga ilaha daw na nga land. So each ethnic group may develop prejudice and stereotypes about other ethnic groups. So we can't deny nga somehow ma-change jud atong tinan-awan sa usa ka tawo depending on his or her ethnicity or religion. Diba, marag mataha ta nga hala, Muslim day ni, basin makaingon kog something that might offend him or her, nga na that might create conflict, or naa na kay kuan pa judge daan nga basta Muslim isog, basta badyaw, sikirag pangayo, sikirag panglimos, depending on different ethnic groups. So badyaws or the badyaw, usa man na sila ka ethnic group. They are known for their colorful clothing, kanang ilang mga malong, o kana pod ilahang way of living. Mura bag og makakita kag badyaw na kay prejudice, ang stereotype na nimo nga basta badyaw gani sige ra pangayo, nga na ba, pero bitag nanay ma-associate nga mga prejudice nimo if depende sa ethnic group sa usa ka tawo. So differences among ethnic groups may also lead to minority groups, or minority groups is defined as collective groups of people who are singled out, distinguished, and treated as subordinates or inferior by the dominant or majority group because of their physical or cultural characteristics. So di ta magpaka-hipokrita how we see the badyaws. So 'di ba, Badjao, kanang mga IPs, they are considered as minority groups in the Philippines, kanang mga Itas, mga Tausog kay uh, excuse me. Malahi man jud ato ang tan-aw good if kana laging not usual sa atong makit-an. Makurat ta tag makakita tag ay ta. Tag ma-shock ba na ma-judge nato sila. Ako or si nato or nako basta ma-judge bitaw nga na. Mm, because again tahay ako tan-aw bitaw nato nga kay ang Badyaw ng limos ra ngayo ra maray tag maubos ato ang tan-aw nila feel nato kita ang dominant or apil ta sa majority group maong sila marag mahog ra nga minorities and again um those differences among ethnicities may lead into conflict or issues. Like, natay makit-an nga mga post nga kanang Badyaw lagi, samok ra, especially during fiestas nga kanang mag-enjoy unta kag kaon sa imong food sa mga bazaar, dili na lang kay naay Badyaw, sige libot-libot nga na. So, yeah, it may create conflicts and issues. And again, we might have prejudice or stereotypes about their groups. So, this is Francisco Alves Mendez Jr., or commonly known as Chico Mendez. He was a Brazilian labor activist and conservationist, and he was known for his active work in protecting the interests of rubber tree tapers in tappers in a state in Amazon and his call to preserve the Amazon rainforest. He helped in establishing unions that work against the deforestation of Amazon forests. And Mendez believed that preserving the forests and creating forest reserves will help peasants and indigenous communities to sustain their lives. Kay mostly some of the indigenous groups live in some areas of Amazon forest. Like, di man na nato. Kanang mga tribo-tribo bitaw. And again, Chico Mendez believed that preserving the Amazon rainforest will help indigenous communities to sustain their lives, especially that they rely on their survival skills. Like, dili pares bitaw nato nga we work for money, then we use money to buy food. Sila, they raise animals, they plant vegetables and fruits for their own consumption. Nga na ba? Maong Chico Mendez has this movement to protect the rainforests or Amazon rainforest to help indigenous communities. And the next topic is cultural variations and social differences in exceptionality and non-exceptionality. So, disclaimer, some terms might be not offensive, pero marag na siya dating for some people. But this is just how we can describe exceptionality from non-exceptionality. Kay baw man ta nga persons with disabilities, they have, although we are living in the same society, marag naa man siya differences, diba, between both worlds. Kana bang mas na distinction between exceptionality and non-exceptionality. And we know that in our society, persons with disability, they often they're often victims of discrimination, kanang marag naay sahay maapektuhan pa ilahang situation bitaw sa how they interact with other people. So again, this is very sensitive. I hope that we can understand different terms related to exceptionality and non-exceptionality. So when we talk about disability, it is a term that refers to a condition wherein the loss of physical functioning, example hearing and vision, or impairments in intellectual, social, and mental processes hinder normal growth and development of an individual. So, impairment, kakulangan, loss of those certain functions that may affect their growing or how they live. Again, dili sayon ang ilang kahimtang because they have lost some of these functions unta um, to live normally. So that's disability. Ang pagbuta, ang pagkabungol, your mental processes like different ang students who are slow learners compared nimo for those who are like kanang normal, or some students they have different social or even emotional bitaw nga capabilities, like some suffer or they have this anxiety, or those who are hyperactive, different jud ilahang pakikitungo o kanang bitang ilang kanang how they are in the society, unsay ilang situation in the society. So that's disability. When we talk about exceptionality, it is a concept that describes how an individual's specific abilities and functioning, physical, intellectual, or behavioral, are different from the established normal or typical qualities. Like, kay ang buta dili man siya kita, ang bungol dili man siya makadungog, or ang kanang those disabilities kay marg maka-create si jag kuan exception ba, since dili makakita marg nay mahog nga kanang exemption nimo sa supposed to be normal or typical qualities of a normal person. So we call it your exceptionality. Like if katulagi if kanang if buta ka or bungol ka, marag na exemption ba, like ang general term niya is exceptionality. Lisod i-explain. So when we address bitaw people with disabilities, dapat taw people first before the disability niya. Like, dapat og mo associate ka, or when you talk about other people, person or people first before their exceptionalities. Like, dili ka moingon og autistic person. Dapat person with autism. Kay respectful siya nga way. Like, person first. Kana, person with autism, person with disability, dili maingon og disabled person. This is for the disabled person, kana kintahing seat bitaw sa series or other kanang mga vehicles naman ay seat for persons with disability. Dapat dili nimo i-associate diretso or iingon diretso nga disabled person. Dapat person first. Person with disability. And the concept of non-exceptionality is only used to differentiate between exceptional ones and those that are considered normal or non-exceptional. So, dili ta mo use og word nga normal, since wala po siya degrading sa part sa mga exceptionals. So, we use exceptional and non-exceptional. especially in kanang dealing with persons or with the exceptional ones. Careful jud ta sa ato ang terms nga gamiton. So the concept of exceptionality and non-exceptionality are also constructions of culture and society. So this means that it is our society that sets the definitions and standards or criteria in determining who is exceptional and who is not. So I believe that today, if you are a person with disability, you have this special ID naman no that you can present if kanang naa kay gibati, like not just persons with physical disability, even kanang mga naay problems with their mental health. So na sila yung special ID that they can use or they can present um, in taking orders because we give them priority, diba? Dapat we should prioritize them. So that's why our society is the one who have labeled or who put labels on who is exceptional and who is not. Kinsa man dapat mga persons nga ma-consider with disability and those who are not. Even though mental health, dili lang kay sa physical aspect, makonsider gyapon siya nga exceptionality since makahinder magud siya sa functioning sa usa ka tawo. So labels are used in order for societal members to have a grasp of the different types of exceptionalities. So terms like gifted, talented, deaf, blind, dyslexic are only some labels used by people to refer to individuals possessing characteristics or ability of the exceptionals. Like kanang mga persons with autism or with Down syndrome, mostly they are gifted if dili sa music, na sila talent ba. That's why they are called gifted or talented. Dili gani dapat unta ni siya dyslexic o kay diba dapat we should address person first before his or her disability, like dapat ni siya person with dyslexia nga na unta. Labels can also determine one's social status in society. So again, people who are exceptional, diba, we should prioritize them. They are given priority because their life is already hard. Like, murag basic human kindness na unta ang paghatag nila og priority or pag-prioritize nila. So some labels about exceptionalities are socially acceptable and can even merit a high status in society, while some are stigmatized and met with the perception of having lower social status. So some raman siguro no ang ma-associate ni mo high status depende jud because people are not kind enough. Like binuang-binuangan pa nila ng kanagong mga situations sa mga exceptionals like kana lisod kayo istoryaan ni nga butang because it's very sensitive. Kasagaran jud nila is ma-discriminate or they may feel that they have lower social status. So when labels are attached to the stigmas and stereotypes, people having such labels may be discriminated in our society. So this is Esther Verger. So she is a retired famous wheelchair tennis player from the Netherlands. She lost the ability to use both her legs and feet when she underwent a 9-hour operation near her spinal cord. During her rehabilitation years, she was able to pick up sports such as basketball, volleyball, and tennis. So, di ba we have Paralympics, like Olympics for people with disability. So, she was considered to be most renowned wheelchair tennis player in the world from 1993 until 2013. So, from 2000 to 2012, she acquired 7 medals for her achievements in the Paralympics. So some um exceptionals, they may have acquired or nakuha nila ilahang disabilities during accidents, and some are inborn. And if you happen to search for Nicholas Vujicic, he is famous. He is a famous speaker who empower people under, or who feel or who have the same situation. Like katong wala siya arms, wala siya legs, like kani, both kani og yung tiil wala, pero he is a famous swimmer. Kanang ngana ba? And I guess this is the last topic, the cultural variations and social differences with nationality. What makes you a Filipino? So kung flat daw kag ilong, when you are able to speak our language, the national language of the Philippines, how we share the same culture, traditions, diba? That makes us a Filipino. So what makes you a Filipino? So nationality may be simply defined as a person's belonging to a specific nation or nation states. So if nakanipuyo sa Philippines, you're a Filipino. Naka sa Thailand, you're Thai. Naka sa Australia, Australian, or you're an Aussie. And other nationalities. So the definition of nationality does not consider similar cultural characteristics as determinants of one's nationality. Rather, it places high value to one's membership and allegiance to a particular country for the determination of one's nationality. Especially, this is for people who are dual citizens, like they have dual citizenship. I-pledge nimo imong allegiance sa, like, kanang asa ka mas pabor ba nga country kay Thai, Canadian ka, and then Filipino. Mura kag naay i-swear na, like mag-swore ka, mag-promise ka nga whatever happens, asa imong allegiance nga na more on ang nationality. So this distinguishes our definition of nationality from a separate concept of ethnicity. Kay ang ethnicity manggod more on cultural aspect, how we are shaped with, or how we share the same language, the same culture, the same religion, whereas ethnicity more on our allegiance. So, nationality also establishes the legal relationship between an individual and its state. When a person is regarded as a legal member of one particular nation state, he becomes mandated to be under the nation state's laws and regulations. Like, kintahay kuan ka, Filipino-American, pero naa ka sa United States nagpuyo. If makasa ka kay, if dual citizen ka, kuan ka, American and then Filipino ka, if dito na kanipuyo sa America, of course, if makasa ka, ilahang laws ang gamiton. But, sometimes kitay, the foreigner nakasa dinhi sa Philippines. Although dinhi sila nakasa sa Philippines, i-deport ra man na sila, kay adto man na sila i-judge sa ilahang country since di man sila taga dinhi. So nga na siya, depende kung kinsay imuhang more dominant. If dual citizen, dominant nimo nga, like asa kaning pledge og allegiance, murag adto imong jurisdiction, or adto ka ma-under sa ilahang laws and regulations. So the political jurisdiction of a state over its nationals enables to pursue and investigate nationals who may or may not be associated to any criminal action. Again, Amerikano ka, nakasa ka sa Philippines, dili man ka ani i-judge sa Philippine laws. Kay di man ka taga dinhi, man i-deport ka, isan ka sa imong country, adto ka nila i-judge. Pero if kana bitong Muslim countries, kuan man gud sila if makasa ka didto, mangyo sa ato ang leader, mapauli. But if not, ug maingon sila death penalty jud. Depende sa nation states. Very strict man gud ka ng mga Muslim countries. So, as nationals have the responsibility to adhere to such rules and regulations, nations themselves also have a responsibility, which is to protect all of its nationals. Um, it's like a give and take relationship. Na your nation state will protect you if you do your responsibility as a citizen of that country or nation state, and vice versa. So this is Albert Einstein. So he was a theoretical physicist who was known for his development of the theory relativity. He taught in different universities across Europe in the early years of his career. However, during 1933, when he was visiting in the United States, Adolf Hitler rose to power in Germany. So, um, uh, when he was visiting ni si Adolf Hitler, ani nga time, was strictly implementing his katong racism nga if dili ka race nila or if dili ka German, you will be killed. Kay gihinluan daw nila ilahang kuan man race. Manang gipamatay di ba niya ang Jewish people or ang mga Jews. So Albert Einstein is partly Jewish. So na siya Jewish blood. So imbes nga he was working in Germany, again, he is Jewish. When he visited America, dito na lang siya nagpabilin. So for fear of being persecuted because he is Jewish, he decided to stay in the United States of America and became a refugee. Eventually, he became an American citizen and taught to different universities in the US. He died in the same country which protected him from his own state in 1955. So, like, pwede man ka, 'di ba, maka-acquire og other nationality as long as ma-follow nimo or hatag nimo ilahang requirements, like kanang mupuyo ka dito 5 years or 10 years, nya naman kay mga requirements na kuhaon na. So again, although Albert Einstein is purely European, unta because of the fear na ipapatay siya during Nazism, ang kadtong Holocaust, ningpuyo na lang siya sa America, lived there and changed his nationality. He became a refugee. Kay again hadlok ang Germany at nga time. So di ba? He died in America who protected him from his own state. So this is about nationality. So thank you. I will also send lesson 2 for your summative exam. Bye.